Peace, and all power and revolutionary love to you all. My name is Day. I am a local organizer here in Detroit. Your time and your energy is much appreciated. Much gratitude for joining us tonight. This presentation has been brought to you by the Sherman Lee Butler Coalition, and hopes to amplify Mr. Butler's story. So, welcome to the Justice for Sherman Lee Butler teaching. I'll pass it over to Comrade James.
Thanks, Day. So the purpose of this teaching, we want to be increasing awareness about Sherman Lee Butler's story, information about Sherman Lee Butler himself, but predominantly what happened to him and all the causes and effects that went into the what happened that day. Increase the collective determination. We want to promote what's happening and get people aware of what's happening so that way folks can take action themselves. We want to raise awareness around the local class struggles that are impacting this effect, that there was multiple factors that went into what happened to Sherman Lee Butler. We also want to try and move people to demonstrate solidarity, and we have some upcoming calls to action based around trying to promote awareness about Sherman Lee Butler and get some answers for what happened to him. So we have some key players in what has happened and so far, everything that we know. Monique Sharp is the judge. This is the primary judge in this case that, sent out the bailiffs. Craig Gregory is the bailiff who shot Sherman. William McConico, sorry, that is the bailiff's boss. He's responsible for ensuring, the bailiff is doing their job accordingly. Mark Landau, landlord's attorney. The BOPC, the Board of Police Commissioners. There's a common name you'll probably heard a lot, Mike Duggan. That's the mayor of Detroit. And then there's James White. He's the chief of police in Detroit. There's also the urban communities, which are there's multiple people involved as property management. There's urban communities, Point Star, and BK Agency. So these are critical names to keep in mind. And then these are also key factors, more or less people, but general ideas to keep in mind when we talk about this. So gentrification and the eviction process and eviction machine that we have here in our capitalist society, real estate investors, the courts, the city's political machine, the police. There's an unnamed cop that we don't know how they were involved, as well as the media and their failure to speak to what happened to Sherman Lee Butler. So we'll skip past that. It's just a few slides giving a detail what's going to happen. So what happened the day of? This is what we know. The morning of Friday, July 12th, 2024, Sherman was disturbingly shot and killed by Craig Gregory during an eviction. DPD was not there on the scene, acting as backup to the bailiff, or DVD was on the scene acting as back to the bailiff. Apologies. Craig Gregory was the bailiff, and while supposedly waiting for mental health unit to arrive, Sherman was tased by a DPD officer. Then he was fatally shot by the armed bailiff Craig Gregory. Sherman was not evicted due to non-payment on rent. Sherman was evicted from what's called a termination of tenancy. 3 weeks before eviction, Sherman underwent surgery, having 5 toes removed from one foot. Sherman's leg was still wrapped up due to that surgery, and he still may have been recovering and missed those eviction letters. Officers on the scene were wearing body cameras and collected footage inside Sherman's apartment unit, but we do not have access to that. We know that a total of 14 apartment buildings in Sherman's area are for sale. These properties recently came under court-appointed receivership due to bad management. Palmer Park apartment complex went into receivership and is being sold by Frank Simon of Simon PLC, but everything is being controlled by Urban Communities, one of those organizations we mentioned earlier, and is soon to be managed by a company named Point Star.
Just one moment, comrade. Right here, this is a Detroit parcel viewer. You can check this information for yourself. We will be sharing these slides with the public, just so you can do your own research. Thank you, comrade.
No problem. Please interject at any moment for more details.
I have a
So,
question
oh,
about
please.
this slide. Can you guys
Was
hear
it the
me?
Yes? Was it the last slide?
Yeah, about that last slide about Palmer Park apartments. Were those
Yes.
apartments? I know there's several apartments over there, but these apartments on Merton Street. Do you guys know?
We're not sure. I believe maybe it's someone from the coalition here. I'm just personally familiar with the building Sherman. I'm not sure of all the apartment buildings by the street names. My apologies.
Okay, the only reason why I'm asking is because I'm familiar with some of those property companies over there, and I'm just curious. It's a different name that I'm familiar with, so that's why I was just curious if this was the same complex. That's was the reason for my question.
No problem. It was a great question. Definitely, if you can, I don't know if you all can chat. You should be able to, but let's get in contact after this, or possibly in between. Someone can, fill you in the chat. But we'll definitely like to get that question answered for you. Okay?
Okay, great. Thank you.
No problem.
You can follow up with Detroit Eviction Defense regarding that. So on July 29th, 2024, Mayor Duggan at his chapter mandated community meeting stated that the properties are currently available for purchase at $21 million listed at listed as the Palmer Park portfolio. Urban Communities marketing for 14 buildings currently looking for investors. Point Star took over management, and Point Star was not listed on Sherman Lee Butler's eviction. Urban Communities, UC 17655 Matterson, that's the address, right, Day?
Yes.
Or yeah. They were listed on the eviction for Sherman Lee Butler. Also, there's two notes in the chat here.
I'm unable to look at the chat. So if you all want to read them before you want to stop, that's all right.
Yeah, just someone noted that Merton is on Palmer Park, and has multiple apartments on that street. Um, yeah, but the point is we don't know if all of them are involved. So we will follow back up and get details on the specific buildings if folks need that information. Might not have that for today, but we'll try and reach out to everybody if we can. And then what we know, tenants are paying rent to UC Palmer Park, the urban communities. Different owners listed on Sherman Butler's eviction and other tenants. In 2024, Communities UC filed 26 terminancy of tenants cases in the 36th District Court